First strike. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the UES Prometheus, watching the massive Cathera warships emerge from hyperspace. Their crystalline hulls gleamed like polished obsidian against the backdrop of stars, each vessel easily dwarfing her own ship by a factor of 10. The alien fleet had appeared without warning, positioning themselves in a perfect geometric formation around Earth's orbital defense network. "Status report," she ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the tension crackling through the bridge. 15 Cathera capital ships detected, Commander, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his tactical station. Their energy signatures are off the charts. Each one could probably glass half a continent. Sarah nodded, studying the holographic display showing the alien vessel's positions. Earth's own defensive fleet, all 20 ships, looked like toys in comparison. The Prometheus itself appeared particularly underwhelming. Its hull a patchwork of different materials and technologies that made it look more like a salvage vessel than a warship. The communications officer, Diana Hayes, suddenly straightened in her chair. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission. System-wide broadcast. Put it through." A deep, resonating voice filled the bridge, speaking perfect English with an unsettling metallic undertone. "Primitive species, we are the Cathera Dominion. Your system has been chosen for integration into our empire. Your technological development is insufficient for independent governance. Surrender your world and submit to Cathera authority." Sarah's jaw tightened as the alien commander continued. "Your pitiful attempts at defensive capabilities amuse us. We have analyzed your vessels. They appear to be constructed from salvage and outdated components. They would not survive even a minimal engagement with our force." "They're scanning us," Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across his console. "Their targeting systems are active, but they're not charging weapons. They don't consider us a threat." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Good. That's exactly what we want them to think." She opened a channel to engineering. "Dr. Patel, how's our little surprise coming along?" "The quantum matrix is stable, Commander," came the reply, accompanied by the sound of machinery humming in the background. "All systems are masked behind our standard power signature. They won't detect anything unusual unless we activate it." Sarah turned to her executive officer, Commander James Walsh. "Status of the rest of the fleet." "All ships report ready," Walsh replied, his weathered face showing the same mix of tension and anticipation she felt. "The Cathera are completely focused on our apparent weaknesses. They haven't noticed that every ship in our fleet has been extensively modified with the same technology as the Prometheus." Sarah nodded, remembering the years of secret development that had led to this moment. While the rest of the world focused on conventional space warfare technology, a select group of scientists and engineers had been working on something entirely different. They had taken pieces of recovered alien technology from a dozen different species and combined them in ways their original creators had never imagined. The Cathera's voice boomed through the bridge again. "You have one planetary rotation to submit your surrender. Any hostile action will result in immediate planetary bombardment. Your species' primitive nature is evident in your crude attempts at spacecraft construction. Do not force us to demonstrate our superiority." Sarah muted the transmission and opened a channel to all Earth ships. "All vessels, this is Commander Chen. The enemy has made their position clear. They think we're primitive, weak, and unworthy of their respect. They see our ships as nothing more than junk cobbled together from spare parts." She paused, letting her words sink in. "They're right about one thing. We did build these ships from whatever we could get our hands on. But they've forgotten something crucial about humanity. We've always been at our most dangerous when we're underestimated." She turned to Rodriguez. "Target the nearest Cathera vessel. Let's show them what this junk can do." The tactical officer's fingers flew across his console. "Target locked. Quantum matrix is spinning up. They still haven't detected any change in our power signature." "All ships," Sarah commanded, her voice firm and clear. "Execute attack pattern Delta." Show these arrogant bastards why humanity has survived every threat we've ever faced. The Prometheus's engines flared to life, its seemingly patchwork hull beginning to glow with an inner light that would have been impossible with conventional technology. The quantum matrix, a combination of 3 different alien power systems working in perfect harmony, reached full power. The Kethera didn't even raise their shields as the human fleet moved into attack position. Why would they? Their scans showed nothing but primitive vessels with minimal offensive capabilities. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. All weapons, Sarah ordered, allowing herself another small smile. Fire. The hidden edge. The bridge of the Keth-era flagship erupted in chaos as the first human volley struck. High Commander Vexthor watched in disbelief as his supposedly impenetrable shields collapsed under an assault that, according to their scans, should have been impossible. Report. He bellowed, his crystalline form pulsing with angry red light. Unknown weapon signature. His science officer responded, mandibles clicking in agitation. The energy readings. They're impossible. They're using multiple forms of technology that should be incompatible. Across the battlefield, Commander Sarah Chen watched with grim satisfaction as the Prometheus's first strike tore through the Keth-era vessel's defenses. The alien ship's crystalline hull, moments ago so pristine and imposing, now bore a ragged wound that leaked atmosphere into space. Direct hit, Rodriguez announced, his tactical display showing the damage assessment. Their primary shield generators are offline. They're attempting to compensate, but they can't seem to adapt to our hybrid weapons. Sarah nodded, remembering the countless simulations and tests that had led to this moment. The Prometheus's main weapon wasn't just a single system. It was 3 different alien weapon technologies firing in perfect synchronization. The first burst was a Zarkali plasma stream, designed to create a momentary weakness in energy shields. The second was a focused graviton beam recovered from a Tellurian scout ship, which exploited that weakness to create a corridor through the remaining defenses. The final component was purely human, a concentrated electromagnetic pulse that played havoc with crystalline technology. Multiple Keth-era vessels moving to engage, Walsh reported, his hand steady on the auxiliary controls. They're adapting their shield frequencies, but they still haven't figured out what we're actually doing. The space around Earth lit up with weapons fire as the rest of the human fleet joined the battle. Each Earth ship, while appearing crude and mismatched on the outside, was a technological symphony on the inside. Years of studying crashed alien vessels hadn't just taught humanity how to use advanced technology. It had taught them how to combine it in ways the original designers had never imagined. Commander, Hayes called out from communications, the Keth-era are broadcasting again. They sound angry. Put it through, Sarah ordered, already maneuvering the Prometheus for another attack run. This is impossible. High Commander Vexthor's voice boomed through the bridge, his usual composure shattered. Your weapons, they violate every known principle of technological compatibility. What are you? Sarah opened a channel to respond. We're human. We take things apart, figure out how they work, and put them back together in new ways. Your mistake was assuming that because we're younger than you, we must be primitive. The Prometheus shuddered as a Keth-era beam weapon glanced off its hull. The ship's defensive systems, a layered combination of energy screens, gravitational deflectors, and good old-fashioned armor plating, held firm. Dr. Patel, Sarah called down to engineering. How's the quantum matrix holding up? Better than expected, Commander, the engineer replied, excitement evident in her voice. The helix pattern energy distribution is actually more efficient in combat than it was in testing. We're learning new tricks even as we fight. That was another thing the Keth-era hadn't counted on. Humanity's ability to adapt and improve in real time. While their alien opponents relied on tried-and-true tactics developed over millennia, Earth's forces were discovering new applications for their hybrid technology with every passing moment. All ships implement combat pattern Sigma, Sarah ordered. Let's show them another surprise. The human fleet moved in perfect coordination, their seemingly random formations suddenly revealing careful planning. As the Cathera vessels attempted to target individual ships, the Earth fleet's formation created overlapping fields of quantum interference, making their actual positions impossible to lock onto. They're falling back, Rodriguez reported with a note of triumph. 3 of their capital ships are showing critical damage to their propulsion systems. Sarah watched as the mighty Cathera fleet, which had arrived so confident in their superiority, began to retreat to a defensive position. Their perfect formation was broken, their certainty shattered by weapons and defenses they couldn't understand. Admiral Zhang is signaling from Earth Command, Hayes announced. They want us to press our advantage. Tell them we're just getting started, Sarah replied, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Signal all ships. Begin Phase 2 of the operation. Let's show the Cathera what else this primitive species can do. As the Prometheus led Earth's fleet forward, Sarah couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had taken the cast-off pieces of a dozen alien civilizations and created something entirely new. The Cathera had expected to find a young, primitive species playing with technology they'd barely understood. Instead, they had found innovators who had turned their own technological superiority against them. The battle was far from over, but the message was clear. Humanity would not be underestimated again. Testing grounds. The Cathera reinforcements arrived exactly as Earth's strategists had predicted. 50 new warships emerged from hyperspace, their crystalline hulls gleaming with murderous intent. High Commander Vexthor had called for his Empire's elite fleet, determined to crush the upstart humans who had dared to humiliate his forces. Commander Sarah Chen watched the new arrivals from the Prometheus's bridge, her expression calm despite the odds. Status of the modifications. Dr. Patel. Integration complete. Commander, the engineer's voice crackled through the comm. The captured Cathera crystal tech interfaced perfectly with our quantum matrix. We're ready to test it in combat conditions. The last battle had given humanity more than just a tactical victory. The damaged Cathera ships had provided invaluable technology samples, which Earth scientists had immediately begun incorporating into their hybrid systems. While the aliens remained rigid in their technological doctrine, humanity continued to evolve. Multiple enemy formations detected, Rodriguez reported from Tactical. They're trying something new. Energy signatures suggest they've modified their weapons to counter our previous tactics. Sarah nodded, having expected this. They still don't understand. They think this is about matching technology against technology. Signal the fleet. Execute Operation Chameleon. Across Earth's defensive line, human ships began to move in seemingly random patterns. To the Cathera sensors, the vessels appeared to be malfunctioning, their energy signatures fluctuating wildly. In reality, each ship was cycling through different technological configurations, making it impossible for the enemy to develop an effective counter-strategy. High Commander Vexthor's voice boomed across all frequencies. Your tricks will not save you this time. Humans, we have studied your hybrid abominations. We have adapted. Surrender now, or be destroyed. They're powering up their main weapons, Walsh warned. Energy readings are off the charts. They've brought planet killers. Sarah's jaw tightened. The Cathera were done playing games. All ships, activate the Crystal Resonance Protocol. Let's see how they like a taste of their own technology. The Prometheus's quantum matrix hummed to life, but this time it channeled power through salvaged Cathera crystals. The energy patterns matched those of the enemy fleet perfectly, then began to shift into something new, something impossible. What are you doing? Vexthor's voice had lost its confidence, replaced by growing concern. Those are sacred crystals. You cannot use them like this. Watch us, Sarah replied, then turned to her crew. All weapons, fire at will. Show them what humanity can do with their sacred technology. The space around Earth lit up as the human fleet unleashed its new weapons. The captured Cathera crystals, re-engineered and integrated with multiple alien systems, created effects that the original designers had never imagined possible. Energy beams split and reformed, bypassing shields entirely. Quantum torpedoes phased through solid matter before detonating inside enemy vessels. Their formations are breaking up, Rodriguez reported with satisfaction. They can't maintain cohesion while trying to defend against attacks they don't understand. In the chaos of battle, Sarah noticed something extraordinary. The hybrid systems weren't just working together, they were learning from each other. Each weapon discharge, each shield impact, created new data that the quantum matrix incorporated into its operations. Dr. Patel, she called down to engineering. Are you seeing this? The efficiency ratings are climbing. It's beautiful, the engineer replied, her voice filled with wonder. The different technologies are synchronizing in ways we never predicted. The ship is evolving. The Kethera fleet's response became increasingly desperate. Their rigid tactical doctrine, developed over thousands of years, had no answer for an enemy that changed its strategy with every passing moment. Ships that had conquered dozens of alien civilizations found themselves unable to land a solid hit on targets that seemed to break the laws of physics. Commander, Hayes called out from communications, I'm picking up internal transmissions from the enemy fleet. They're arguing among themselves. Some of their ships are calling for retreat. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. They're starting to understand. This isn't just about technology. It's about imagination. About being willing to try things that shouldn't work. She opened a channel to all Earth ships. All vessels, press the advantage. Show them why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced. The battle continued to unfold, but its outcome was becoming clear. The mighty Kethera, who had arrived expecting to find a primitive species barely worthy of conquest, were being systematically dismantled by ships they had dismissed as junk. Every tactic they tried was met with an impossible counter. Every weakness they thought they had found turned out to be a trap. Enemy fleet is down to 60% combat effectiveness, Rodriguez reported. They're losing coordination. Individual ships are starting to break formation. Sarah watched as the perfect geometric patterns of the Kethera fleet dissolved into chaos. They're learning what every other threat to Earth has learned, she said quietly. Never underestimate humanity's ability to take something apart and put it back together in ways that change everything. The battle wasn't over, but its message was clear. Humanity would not just survive this encounter. They would emerge from it stronger than ever, having learned from and improved upon the very technology that was meant to destroy them. Turn of the tide. High Commander Vexthor watched in mounting horror as his mighty fleet continued to crumble before the human onslaught. His flagship's bridge, once a model of crystalline perfection, now bore the scars of multiple hits from weapons that shouldn't exist. The supposedly primitive humans had not only survived their initial assault, but were now dictating the pace of battle. Impossible, he muttered, his crystalline form flickering with distress. They're using Zarkeli plasma streams combined with Tellurian gravity weapons. The energy patterns should tear themselves apart. Aboard the Prometheus, Commander Sarah Chen was orchestrating humanity's counterattack. The quantum matrix had evolved beyond their initial predictions, creating synergies between alien technologies that even Earth scientists hadn't anticipated. Dr. Patel, she called down to engineering. What's the status of the new configurations? The ship is practically singing, Commander, the engineer replied excitedly. The quantum matrix has found ways to channel power that we never even theorized. It's like the different technologies are teaching each other new tricks. Sarah watched as her tactical display showed the Kethera fleet's continued disintegration. Their rigid command structure, once a source of strength, had become their greatest weakness. Each ship waited for orders that followed outdated protocols, unable to adapt to humanity's constantly evolving tactics. Commander, Rodriguez called from tactical, I'm detecting power fluctuations in their flagship. Their crystal matrix is destabilizing. I think our hybrid weapons are having an unexpected effect on their core systems. Sarah leaned forward, studying the readings. They built their entire civilization around crystal technology, never imagining it could be used against them. Signal the fleet. Concentrate fire on their command and control nodes. Let's see how well they fight when they can't coordinate. The space around Earth had become a graveyard of crystalline fragments, the debris from damaged Cathera ships creating a glittering cloud that reflected the light of weapons fire. The human fleet moved through this deadly ballet with increasing confidence, their junk ships proving more resilient and adaptable with each passing moment. New energy signatures detected, Walsh reported suddenly. They're charging their remaining planet killers. Desperate tactics, Sarah observed coolly. They're falling back on brute force because they can't match our adaptability. Dr. Patel, initiate Protocol Omega. In the Prometheus's engineering section, Dr. Patel's hands flew across her console. The quantum matrix hummed with new purpose as it implemented humanity's most ambitious combination of alien technologies yet. The ship's hybrid systems began to resonate with the crystalline debris field, turning the Cathera's own destroyed vessels into a weapon. The effect was immediate and devastating. The debris field came alive with energy, each fragment becoming a focal point for the combined technologies. The Cathera's remaining ships found themselves trapped in a web of their own destroyed technology, their energy weapons reflected and amplified back at them by the crystalline fragments. By the first crystal. Vexthor's voice crackled across all frequencies, shock evident in his tone. What have you done? This violates every principle of unified technology. That's your problem, Sarah responded, allowing herself a small smile. You think there are rules to this. We see possibilities. The battle had turned into a rout. The mighty Cathera fleet, which had arrived expecting an easy conquest, was now fighting for survival against an enemy that seemed to grow stronger with each passing moment. Their attempts to retreat were hampered by the energized debris field, which responded to their movements with precise counterattacks orchestrated by the human fleet's quantum matrices. Multiple Cathera vessels are powering down their weapons, Hayes reported from communications. They're requesting terms of surrender. Sarah exchanged glances with Walsh. This was more than just a tactical victory. It was a fundamental shift in the balance of power. The Cathera, who had dominated space for centuries through technological superiority, had been defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Commander, Dr. Patel's voice came through again. You need to see these readings. The quantum matrix has achieved something unprecedented. It's not just combining technologies anymore. It's creating entirely new principles of operation. We're going to be studying these advances for years. Sarah nodded, understanding the implications. Humanity hadn't just survived this encounter. They had evolved because of it. Each piece of salvage technology, each desperate innovation, had contributed to something entirely new, something that would change the future of human space travel forever. Open a channel to the Cathera flagship, she ordered. Let's show them another human trait they didn't expect: mercy. As she prepared to address the defeated alien commander, Sarah reflected on how far they had come. The Cathera had arrived expecting to find a primitive species clinging to cobbled-together technology. Instead, they had discovered that humanity's greatest strength lay not in the technology they possessed, but in their ability to reimagine what was possible. The age of human innovation in space had truly begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Victory through innovation. 6 hours after the Cathera surrender, Commander Sarah Chen stood in Earth's orbital command center, watching as the remaining alien ships powered down their weapons under the watchful eyes of the human fleet. The massive holographic display showed the scattered remnants of what had been one of the most powerful invasion forces in known space. The final casualty reports are in. Admiral Zhang announced to the assembled command staff. We lost 3 ships, but most of their crews managed to evacuate. The Cathera lost 37 capital ships, with another 15 severely damaged. High Commander Vexthor, now a prisoner of war, stood at the center of the command room. His crystalline form had dulled from its former brilliance, but his voice still carried authority. You must understand, this changes everything. The Dominion has conquered hundreds of species, all of them more technologically advanced than humanity. None of them ever thought to do this. He gestured at a nearby display, showing the schematics of the Prometheus's hybrid systems. Earth scientists had already begun analyzing the combat data, documenting how their combined technologies had performed far beyond theoretical limits. That's because they all thought like you, Sarah replied, turning to face the alien commander. They saw technology as something to perfect, to refine along established lines. We saw it as something to reimagine. Dr. Patel burst into the room, her usual composure forgotten in her excitement. Commander, Admiral, you need to see this. The quantum matrix's final evolution during the battle. It's not just a weapon system anymore. We think we've accidentally invented an entirely new form of faster-than-light travel. The room fell silent. Even Vex Thor's crystalline form pulsed with surprise. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just defeated an alien invasion. They had bootstrapped themselves into a technological revolution. How is this possible? One of the Cathera sub-commanders demanded. You barely had spaceflight capability a generation ago. Admiral Zhang smiled. Because we never threw anything away. Every piece of alien technology that crashed on Earth, every strange energy reading we detected, we studied them all. Where you saw incompatible systems, we saw opportunities. While you were perfecting your crystal technology, we were learning how to make everything work together. The holographic display shifted to show the debris field, where Earth ships were already beginning salvage operations. Each piece of destroyed Cathera technology would be studied, understood, and eventually integrated into humanity's growing technological repertoire. Your victory is acknowledged, Vex Thor said formally. The terms of surrender are accepted. But know this, when word reaches the Dominion's central worlds, they will come. They will come with fleets that dwarf what you face today. Sarah exchanged glances with Dr. Patel, who was practically bouncing with suppressed excitement. Let them come, she replied. By then, we'll have learned even more. Your own technology will have taught us new tricks. That's something your people never understood about humans. We don't just adapt, we evolve. The next few hours were a flurry of activity as Earth's scientists and engineers began documenting and analyzing everything they had learned during the battle. The quantum matrix's unexpected evolution had opened up entirely new fields of physics. The combination of Zarkili plasma streams with Tellurian gravity weapons had created effects that defied conventional understanding of spacetime. We're already receiving transmissions from other species, Hayes reported, having joined the command staff. Word of the battle is spreading. The Cathera were considered unbeatable. Now everyone wants to know how we did it. More importantly, Dr. Patel added, several independent worlds are offering to share their own technology with us. They're fascinated by what we might create with it. Sarah watched as salvage crews began towing the first pieces of crystalline debris toward Earth's orbital shipyards. Each fragment represented new possibilities, new combinations waiting to be discovered. Humanity's victory hadn't just secured their survival, it had announced their arrival as a major power in the galaxy. Commander, Admiral Zhang said quietly, the President wants to establish a new division. Something combining our best scientists, engineers, and military minds. A group dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what's possible with hybrid technology. She wants you to lead it. Sarah looked around the command center, at the mixture of human and alien faces, all focused on the possibilities that lay ahead. The Cathera had arrived expecting to find a primitive species playing with technology they barely understood. Instead, they had discovered something far more dangerous, a species that could take the building blocks of the universe and reassemble them in ways that no one had ever imagined. Tell the President I accept, she replied. But first, let's show our guests what else these primitive humans can do. As the Earth continued to turn below them, Humanity prepared to take its first steps into a future where innovation, not tradition, would determine the course of galactic history. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, beckoning with endless possibilities. The age of human ascendance had begun.